Dear learners, welcome to this session, History, a Science or an Art. Learning objective of this session is to analyze whether history is an art or science or both. After completing this session, the learner will be able to develop insight of how history is both an art and science. But first, let us see what is history. History is a narrative text written in the present about the subject of the past, using evidence that the past has left behind. History is a dialogue between the present and the past. History helps us understand people and societies in the first place. History offers a storehouse of information about how people and societies behave. It is the study of past, especially how it is related to human significance. Now let us see whether history is a science or art. History as a science. Let us consider those views which do not accept history as science. Science is a systematized theory of knowledge concerning the relationship between cause and effect of a particular phenomena. Science is built up of facts as a house is built up of stones. But an accumulation of facts is no more science as a heap of stones is not a house. The arguments against history as a science that facts in natural sciences can be observed clearly and objectively, but it is not possible in history. The facts on which history is based cannot be observed. Event, facts, and opinions existing in history cannot be synthesized so minutely as can be done in scientific synthesis. History is related with human events, opinions, and activities which are extremely flexible and experiments and cannot be conducted on them much like we can do in pure sciences. In science, we can conduct an experiment over many times, but in history, any event can take place only once and not again and again. Therefore, we can say that there is no forecasting, it is complex and varied, no observation and experimentation is there, as well as there is no dependable data. Now, let us see what are the arguments for history as a science. This remains true that history is not a pure science like physics, nor can repeated experiments be conducted in it. But this too remains true that there are several events of similar nature in history on the basis of which generalization can be made. History is a detail of several events which tells when, why, how, and where these events took place. All these events can be analyzed in an objective and scientific manner. History is based on past facts, and what is based on facts is a science. Like scientific laboratories, history too has its own laboratory, and its laboratory is the whole world. There are some other arguments for history as a science. History is a social science, therefore, we can say it is a part of science. The chief aim of a history is to explore the truth, so it is a science of this nature. Facts are compiled in history on the basis of scientific resources. Historical events are chronological, so conclusions are accurate and scientific. In history, we arrive at the truth through comparative observation. The outlook of history is always scientific, and the method of exploring are also scientific. So, these are some of the arguments for history as a science. Now, let us see history as art. Some historians consider history as an art, while others do not agree with them. Some people argue that it cannot be both science and art. If it is a science, it cannot be art. If it is a science, it will present the fact in an accurate and proper form. And if it is an art, it would present content, facts, and events in a philosophical and idealistic form, in a simple and aesthetic sense. So, here we can say that art tells us what should be the ideal and what is the destination. History tells us what we want and what is our destination on the basis of different events. So, this is the aspect of art in history. Therefore, history is a unique subject possessing the potentialities of both a science and an art. It does the inquiry after truth, thus, history is a science and is on scientific basis. It is also based on the narrative account of the past, thus, it is an art or a piece of literature. History, in fact, is a social science and an art. In that lie its flexibility, its variety, and excitement. Therefore, we can say history is both a science and an art. Thank you very much.